Hey, listen, let's be real. You won't always be motivated, but you have to learn how to be disciplined enough to keep going.
You're always afraid to take the first step because all you see is every negative thing 10 miles down the road. But you can do anything you want. You are bound by nothing. What are you passionate about? What do you want?
I love thinking about the quote, every guy essentially has two lives, and the second one starts once you realize you only have one. I like that a lot because it's so true, man. You know, you've only got one shot at this, so you may as well at least make it kind of cool.
And that's what the great ones do. They marshal and harness their resources, their mental focus, their physical energy, their personal willpower, their individual gifts, their time, and they focus them on just a few things. And I want you to think about it in your life. If you stripped away all the noise, you focused on the signal, you stripped away all the complexity, you got monomaniacally concentrated on just a few things, of course you'd be brilliant at those few things.
Everybody wants to feel like a winner. Everybody wants to feel like a winner. So how do you get the winning feeling? Simple answer, you win. Okay, how do you win? Well, you cross the finish line first. Now, fortunately, in life, what successful people do, and I learned this after many years, it's so important, is they set up finish lines for themselves that they can cross. And so, if you complete a task of any value, it's like winning a little bit, and you feel like a winner. You start, you work, you complete the task.
Silence the voice of doubt within you. Let your actions speak louder than your fears. Your dreams are built on the thoughts you choose to believe.
90% of your self-doubt is the result of a lie. That you overestimate the degree to which other people are noticing or observing your actions or behaviors. It's called the spotlight effect. It says that we think everyone is looking at us and focusing on us, when in reality, everyone is just focusing on themselves. No one is looking at you. No one really cares about the things you're doing because they're just concerned with themselves. So it's a reminder, there's no one to impress. You don't have anyone to impress with your actions or decisions or the things that you're doing. The only person you need to worry about impressing is yourself. So remember that the next time you're paralyzed by inaction, the next time you're paralyzed by self-doubt, no one really cares about you. That should be liberating. That should encourage you to live according to your values, your principles, to just be you.
The bloodline breaker is you. It's any person, you're qualified to be one, and so am I, and I don't care what anyone else says, that decides they want to break the generational curses and the crap and the shit they've had going on in their family, genes, and bloodline. It's going to take you getting pissed off. It's going to take you getting stirred up. Grab the rearview mirror, point it in your direction. Is that who you're supposed to be? If it's not, you can make a decision today to be the bloodline breaker in your family, and I promise you, you can literally curve history just by waking up at this moment.
Life's not fair. There is plenty of uncontrollable luck that deeply impacts our lives. Where we are born, who we are born to, and the circumstances of our early childhood all have an outsized impact. Bad people win and good people lose, all the time. But within that dark context, there are bright spots. The opportunity playing field is leveling. The world may never be truly fair, but it will always belong to those who make the most of what they have before them. Be grateful for what you have and make the most of today.
I want to make sure everybody knows that they're enough. No matter what they go through, what they've been through, that they are enough. The number one cause for anything is people not knowing that they're enough. They feel like they're not enough. Just because you have some bad chapters doesn't mean your story can't end well. And every story has bad chapters. It's about you finding the strength to turn the page. And so hold on to that in your struggle, in your journey, in your pain, and then turn your pain from your worst enemy to your best friend. Do that. Use pain, don't let it use you.
Time and consistency is a powerful combination because the passing of time is already an absolute. And now it's up to you to do a little bit every day. Just understand that doing a little is not hard, but you gotta do it every day. That's the hard part. And whether you choose to do it or not, the time will pass anyway.
If you aren't willing to give it your all, if you're not willing to go 110% just to give up, you're doing nothing but wasting your time. Understand that the path to success is not going to be easy. You're going to suffer. You're going to face hardship. There are going to be days where you don't feel like moving forward. But if you're able to push through it, if you're willing to give it everything you've got to achieve your goals, you will achieve success. If you acknowledge that the path is going to be easy, but are willing to commit yourself to giving it your all, to giving it 110%, I guarantee that you will achieve your goals.
Don't quit. You've come so far already. Look back at the beginning. See how much ground you've covered. It wasn't easy, right? But you did it.
I'm all about perspective because I truly believe if you change your perspective, you can change your life. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. How you view what you do impacts and affects how you do what you do. Perspective is everything. You can either look at mistakes and mess ups as hindrances and roadblocks, or you can look at mistakes and mess ups as opportunities and ways to grow and learn, right? And when you shift your perspective, the way that you navigate those things, the way that you deal with them, the way that you go through them changes drastically.
Up more than you can chew and then chew like hell. All of your growth will come from pushing beyond your current limit.
And life is tough sometimes, but you are making it. And that there is a reason that you are going through what you're going through. Wherever you are in your life is where you're supposed to be. And it's part of your journey. And I believe you know that this all ends really, really well. It can be tough right now. It all ends really, really well.
We say we want to get better. We say we want to learn about this or that. We say we want to make a change. We say we've decided to get serious. But is this true? Stoics had an expression, acta non verba, deeds, not words. So it's ironic that most of us say we want to make these improvements, but we can't or won't do the bare minimum.
In life, you either change intentionally or you change by crisis happening in your life. Most of the time we change because of a girl broke up with us, somebody ripped us off, you got backstabbed, you lost everything. You change because shit hit the fan, right? The guys that change intentionally, you're almost like, but he's not the same. You don't see him for 6 months. Man, he's changed again. If you can change intentionally without crisis happening to you, you're ahead of everybody by 99% of people you're ahead of. It's not even a question.
Those who are willing to risk going too far can possibly find out how far one can go. You have to take the risk.
It always looks impossible when things change. It always feels impossible when that thing ends. It feels so impossible, but only when you keep telling the old story. Because in the old story, you can't see the vision. You can't feel it. In the old story, you'll do the old actions and you can't imagine a better future, but that's your job. Job one, each day bring the best of who you are and move in the next right direction of integrity for you. You don't have to know all the steps. Move in the next right direction. Always be moving in the right direction of integrity for yourself. And if you can do that faithfully over and over and over again, you keep growing. If you stop growing, you just got stuck in an old story, stuck in an old pattern, stuck in old thoughts and concerns and worries. And of course, mired in that, you can't see and you can't move.
And we're just focusing on getting to the finish line. We end up underappreciating and really disrespecting the process of where we're at right now. And sometimes where you're at right now, it might be a low, and that's why you're looking to the finish line so much. But that low is a weakness, and we should be patient in that weakness because there's an opportunity to learn and grow right there. You never grow from crossing the finish line because that's where we grow, develop, evolve, get better. But it's so easy that when you're in the hard, you just want the easy. So it's tough, but learning how to truly be patient in that weakness, I believe it's a hard thing to do, but it is transformative.
If you just focus on, okay, every single day I'm just trying to be the best I can in that day. It's not about being perfect. Like we always say, progression over perfection. Every single day I'm just trying to get up and be the best I can for that day. And I'm gonna keep on doing this over a long period of time. What do you think will happen? If you do that for a long period of time, I'm talking 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, what do you think will happen? Where do you think you will be? Every single day, you just try to make the most out of that day. One step at a time, one moment at a time, 1% at a time. Think about where you'll be.
Whether it is a missed opportunity, a breakup, a stupid decision, an embarrassing mistake, or simply just an unfortunate event, there's something in your past that is continuing to weigh on you. And it is seriously affecting the way you're able to simply operate on a day-to-day basis. Why is that? And how do you fix it? But before we even get to that, you must understand one simple thing. Your past is your story. And the reality is, eventually this dark shadow that continues to haunt your mind will eventually become the very stepping stone that brings you closer to the version of yourself that you strive to be.
World will see you as you see you. People think that the world sees you a certain way and that that's how you are, and then you have to change it. That's not how it works. When you see yourself a certain way, the world respects that and sees you that way as well. And that goes for your habits, your lifestyle, or anything that you're trying to work on. We create the image that the world accepts, and other people think that the world tells us what to be. And I think there is two classes of people, right? You have a class of people that understand, like, no, f you, I'm gonna become what I want to become. And that's the small percentage. And then the rest of the percentage, the world tells them no 3 or 4 times. They're like, okay, I'm just going to take my place over here and be little and be small and live small, and just be a regular person. And, then they're like, why is my life like this? Well, bro, because you're not seeing yourself as the way you should be. And if you can't see yourself that way, then you need to build yourself into someone that you can see that way.
Some days, it's not about having all the answers or making huge strides forward. Some days, the win is just showing up. You don't need to be at your best every single day to make progress. You just need to stay in the game. Progress is made in the moments that you keep going when your mind is telling you to stop. Don't overthink it. Just show up for yourself today, one step at a time.
Don't waste your life. Set your goals high. Quit thinking about what's wrong. Start thinking what's right. Love a little more, hate a little less. You have no idea what you're capable of doing. Make up your mind today, you're going to figure it out.
It's not what you're capable of, it's what you're willing to do. It's not what you're capable of, it's what you're willing to do. I know plenty of people that are capable. I know fewer people that are willing.
Don't let any experience that you've ever had in your life act as a brake on your potential, because there's hundreds of thousands of people who've had it worse than you could ever dream of, who've gone on to accomplish wonderful things.
People want to find their passion, but you don't find it, you create it. And you create it by getting good at something. And to get good at stuff, you start by doing something you suck at. Then you get good. Then you like it. Then people ask how you found your passion. Answer: by starting when you sucked and not giving up.
Here are 7 thoughts you need to hear at least once in your life. Number 1, be so great, you can't be ignored. Number 2, take care of the work, and the work will take care of you. 3, growth is on the other side of discomfort. 4, failure teaches you everything you need to know to be successful. 5, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. 6, there's only one person you spend all your time with, and that's you. So do yourself a favor and be as fascinating as possible. And 7, I'd rather regret the things I did than the things I never tried.
So make this note. Dreams and goals can become magnets. Dreams and goals can become magnets. And the stronger the goal, the higher the purpose, the more powerful the objective, the stronger this magnet is that pulls you that direction. Now, not only does your goals and your objectives pull you that direction, here's what they also do. They pull you through. They pull you through all kinds of down days. They pull you through a difficult time. It'll pull you through some winter of your life. Some people get lost in the confusion of the day simply because their goal is not bright enough to pull them through. One writer of ancient times said we can walk through the valley. Even though there's shadows of death around, we walk through the valley. And here's why it's possible to walk through the valley, even though there's death and shadows and difficulties, is because we have a view of the other side of the valley.
Well, one of the greatest obstacles to success is self-doubt, is we doubt ourselves. We think maybe I'm not smart enough, or maybe I'm not old enough, or experienced enough, or educated enough. And so self-doubt holds people back. Now, the reverse of self-doubt is self-confidence. You can achieve any goal you can set for yourself. But I also say you are a thoroughly good person. You are a very good person, and you must never doubt yourself. No matter how many problems you have in life, hold on to that.
It's hard to change the world. It really is. But if you can take a reason and a purpose on your drive, your hustle, your grind, and make a dent, just creates a little bit of impact. That creates a ripple effect for the future, because you are the future.
I often ask people, what is the future that you're stepping into? Lean into the possibility of something versus looking back at the failure of something, right? I say past hurt informs future fear. So wherever we've been hurt, we tend to superimpose that as though that's what's going to happen again, and we're now trying to avoid it, which is that self-fulfilling prophecy. Versus if you can really, truly let your history be, recognize the nature of life is complete uncertainty. And so you stay open to life surprising you.
There's a famous quote about his analogy for a successful life. And the quote says that in life there's two major seasons. And if you think about it like you're floating on a river, there's times where you let the water take you where it's supposed to take you. And you trust and let the river flow where it's going to take you. So there's a time for floating, but there's also a time for swimming, where you know I need to go there and you give it all you got because something inside of you tells you it's time.
We all have ambitions, we all have dreams and goals and desires that we want, and our culture fills us with these kind of vague hopes and dreams. I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that. But really what gets you to where you want are daily habits. There are negative habits that you can't get rid of, but there are other habits like discipline, like working every day, like taking steps to reach your goals that are immensely liberating. And you can get rid of your bad habits through developing positive habits. The goal here is to focus less on the giant dreams and on the everyday process of changing your thinking.
The heaviest things in life aren't iron and gold, but unmade decisions. The reason you are stressed is that you have decisions to make and you're not making them.
The fastest way to take control of your life is to stop controlling everyone around you. You have no idea how much time and energy and attention you are wasting trying to control other people. You have no idea how much energy you are burning through thinking about, worrying about, obsessing about what other people are doing, what they're not doing, what they're feeling, all of which you have zero control over.
Overthinking comes from a lack of self-trust. More specifically, you don't trust yourself to handle the big uncomfortable feelings you might feel if your overthinking fears come true. So instead, you search for control. You catastrophize and strategize. You create a plan of action, probably several, as you imagine any and everything that could possibly go wrong and exactly how you could react to avoid or minimize the hurt, right? Well, if this is the case, then you're probably frustrated and exhausted. So here's another option. Trust yourself. Make a decision, preferably one that's well-intentioned and aligns with your values. If things go according to plan, great, keep it moving. If they don't, great, keep it moving. The control and safety that you're looking for doesn't come from manipulating the external circumstances, but rather they're found in your ability to consistently show up and support yourself regardless of external outcome.
You can only build a dream as high as your foundation. And the foundation of the dream is realism. That's why people don't stay with the dream long. It's not realistic. You see, the dream is free, but the journey isn't.
You know what life A is going to get you. You've been doing it over and over and over and getting the same results. You want something different, you got to do something different. It's that simple. You want different, you got to do different. You want better, you got to be better. You want change, you got to change.
The true horror of existence is not the fear of death, but the fear of life. It is the fear of waking up each day to face the same struggles, the same disappointments, the same pain. It is the fear that nothing will ever change, that you are trapped in a cycle of suffering that you cannot escape. And in that fear, there is a desperation, a longing for something, anything, to break the monotony, to bring meaning to the endless repetition of days.
You listen to other people, to their opinions, to their whininess. It'll beat you up and you'll never be able to reach the goals that you want to reach in life. So the answer is to become internally oriented, to know what you want, to know what your goals are, to know what your desires are, to know what makes you unique, and to put your focus on that and not on other people's expectations of you.
And remember, before you do something special, just do something.
When people say to me, well, I can't predict my future, I'm in the unknown, and I always say the best way to predict your future is to create it. Not from the known, but from the unknown. What thoughts do you want to fire and wire in your brain? What behaviors do you want to demonstrate in one day? The act of rehearsing them mentally, closing your eyes, and rehearsing the action.
Sometimes life is asking you to stop being so worried about everything that's going to go wrong, when the reality is you're the one manifesting the thing that you don't want to happen because you're choosing to believe that that's what's going to happen. It's always going to feel scary to your ego to do something that it's never done before. That's what the fear actually is. So it just draws you back to going back to thinking that I don't know if I should do this, when the reality is there's an internal part of you that knows it's time for change. Just learn to trust it, because you will come into realization after you make the decision that it was the right decision. And you'll feel how it actually helped you let go of that identity that's been fucking dragging you down into a reality that you've already outgrown.
If your definition of success is win or lose, giving everything you've got and growing or learning along the way, then you're setting yourself up for success. I really think the biggest cheat code in life is just going after it and not being concerned of whether or not you fail at one specific task. Instead, understanding the big picture, what your long-term goal is, and knowing if you keep driving forward and never fucking quit, in the end you will succeed.
Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment." So yes, staying true to yourself is a powerful act of rebellion. Your authenticity becomes your greatest strength in an environment that pressures you to fit in.
I prefer to be the kind of person who steps up and faces the challenge than the kind of person who stays below the line and avoids the challenge. What kind of person do you want to be? What do you want? How badly do you want it? How much are you willing to suffer? Those three questions our high performers face every day.
Don't aim for happiness, aim for purpose. Happiness is temporary. It comes and it goes like the waves of the ocean. So enjoy it as it comes and smile as it fades away. Purpose touches your soul. Now pursuing it doesn't always make you happy, and a lot of times it actually makes you frustrated and confused. It also sometimes brings you joy and adventure, but it is complex like a Renaissance poem. There's ups and there's downs, there's twists and turns, stagnation and chaos. It is pure, and that is the journey in which you will be fulfilled.
You only have one chance at this life. You do know that, right? And if you are always playing that supporting role, as Ed Milet says, when the credits roll at the end of your movie, at the end of your life, it's just going to say supporting actor number 3, and it'll have your name. Don't you want to be the main star? Don't you want to be the key character in your life story? Don't you want to make the best decisions?
Human beings have the ability, unlike animals, because we have the ability to create our reality. And my reality is as I perceive it. You have the ability to create your reality. What you see here in your head is what you will see as your exterior. It's always like that. I walk into a party, I say, man, I don't like that guy. You know what? I'm right. You walk in and say, that's a wonderful guy. You're right too. We're both right.
Starting is the hardest part, but you've already done that. Most people never even get to this point. They let fear of failure, rejection, or embarrassment hold them back. But you're already ahead of the game because you took action. Don't waste time worrying about people who doubt you. They're just projecting their own insecurities. The ones who laugh at you for starting are the ones who are too afraid to start themselves. Keep pushing. Real ones will recognize your effort, and the rest, they don't matter.
So every time you show up and every time you're on point, if you do that on the regular, even if every day you're not even making 1% improvements, you're making 0.01% improvements. Over time, those will add up, and those will add up exponentially. So on a day-by-day basis, I mean, you're not going to expect anything crazy, but you can become completely unrecognizable.
You do whatever the hell you want. Just do it well. That's important. And don't do any damn thing that you will be ashamed of doing tomorrow, isn't it? What other people say doesn't matter, but you should not be ashamed of what you have done, isn't it so? This much you must keep, this much pride and freedom you must keep in your life. It doesn't matter, the whole world says you're wrong, but you are not ashamed of what you have done. That much you must always keep in your life. If that one thing, if you give up, I'm telling you, you'll live a very poor life. You may have everything, but you'll have nothing.